If he doesn't value you, do these 4 things. In the realm of relationships and love, it's crucial to understand your worth and ensure that the other person acknowledges and respects it. Let's dive into 4 of the most powerful ways you can do this right now. I'm Brody Boyd with Magnetize Your Man, and as a love coach for over 13 years, here's what I've seen. The first thing you want to do if he's not valuing you is setting higher standards. Setting higher standards means evaluating the expectations you have for how you deserve to be treated in a relationship. It's about understanding your value and not settling for less than what you know you deserve. By establishing these standards, you send a clear message to him about what you expect in terms of behavior, respect, and commitment. Having higher standards is important because it establishes boundaries that safeguard your well-being, dignity, and self-worth. It ensures that you're in a relationship where you're valued, respected, and treated right. Moreover, when you set these standards, it challenges the other person to rise to them, promoting growth and mutual respect. 3 specific examples of setting higher standards to make him value you include: number 1, communication. If he only reaches out when it's convenient for him, set a standard where consistent and meaningful communication is a must. Number 2 is effort and time. If he's always too busy for you, raise your standards to only accept relationships where your partner actively makes time for you and prioritizes the relationship. Number 3 is respect for boundaries. If he constantly crosses personal boundaries or disregards your feelings, insist on a relationship where both partners respect and honor each other's boundaries and feelings. An excellent explanation of setting higher standards to make him value you comes from Steve Maraboli, who said, "Never settle for anything less than what you deserve. It's not pride, it's self-respect." This quote emphasizes the importance of recognizing your own value. It's not about being haughty or thinking you're better than others. It's about understanding your worth and not allowing anyone to treat you less than what you deserve. Another example of setting higher standards is to imagine a diamond. A diamond doesn't lose its value just because it's buried under dirt or not presented well. Similarly, you shouldn't allow anyone to undervalue you based on superficial factors or their own insecurities. Like a diamond, you should be sought after and treasured. The psychology behind setting higher standards to make him value you is that humans inherently value things more when they are deemed rare or hard to get. It's the principle of scarcity. When you set higher standards for yourself, you're essentially communicating your own rarity and value. You're not just anyone, you're someone special who expects and deserves respect and care. An ancient proverb about setting higher standards to get him to value you is, "Do not cheapen yourself or you will be treated cheaply." This proverb suggests that how you present and value yourself sets a precedent for how others will treat you. If you don't stand up for your own worth, others might not see it either. The Bible explains setting higher standards to get him to value you beautifully in Proverbs 31:10, which says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." This verse emphasizes that high value and rarity of a virtuous woman, suggesting that she should not settle for less than what she is worth and should be treasured and valued accordingly. Some say it is not effective to set higher standards to get him to value because it might come off as arrogant or too demanding, pushing potential partners away. They argue that it's better to be more accommodating and flexible in your relationships. However, this perspective often confuses self-worth with arrogance. Setting higher standards is not about looking down on others, it's about recognizing and asserting your own value in a relationship. The flip side of setting higher standards to get him to value you would be being more accommodating and understanding in relationships. There is value in compromise and adjusting standards for the sake of a relationship's longevity. Sometimes, emphasizing understanding and patience can lead to deeper connections and mutual growth. However, this should never come at the cost of your self-worth or being treated poorly. Balance is key. The second thing to do if he's not valuing you is to evaluate the relationship. Evaluating the relationship when you feel he's not valuing you means taking a step back and assessing how your partner treats you, respects you, and prioritizes you in the relationship. It's about recognizing whether he truly appreciates your worth and whether he is investing in the partnership as much as you are. You deserve to be in a relationship where you're loved, valued, and respected. Consistently feeling undervalued can lead to feelings of insecurity, unhappiness, and even affect your self-esteem. Understanding where you stand and making informed decisions about the relationship's future ensures your emotional well-being and long-term happiness. 3 specific examples of evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you include: number 1, listening skills. If he's always distracted when you're talking or dismissing your feelings, it's a sign he may not value your voice. Take note and address this with him. Number 2 is taking you for granted. If he constantly cancels plans or only reaches out when he needs something, evaluate whether he truly sees your worth. It might be time for a candid conversation. Number 3 is lack of support. If he's absent during your challenging times or doesn't celebrate your achievements, consider if he genuinely values your journey. It's crucial for partners to be each other's pillars of support. An excellent explanation of evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you comes from F. Scott Fitzgerald, who said, "People disappeared, reappeared, made plans to go somewhere, and then lost each other, searched for each other, found each other a few feet away." This quote, while speaking to the chaos of parties in his works, can also allude to the dynamics of relationships. Sometimes we're close, sometimes we drift apart, but it's essential to recognize when we're only a few feet away, yet still lost from each other. If he's not valuing you, it may feel like you're constantly searching for him emotionally, even when he's right beside you. Another example of evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you is to imagine a plant that's not getting enough sunlight. Over time, it wilts and loses its vitality. Similarly, when you're in a relationship where you're not valued, your emotional health and well-being can wither. It's essential to recognize when you're not getting the sunlight you need to flourish. A biological explanation of evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you is that throughout history, humans have thrived on social connections. It's in our DNA to seek relationships that are mutual, supportive, and beneficial. In ancient times, having strong, dependable relationships meant better chances of survival. When one person consistently feels undervalued in a relationship, it goes against this ancient biological need for mutual respect and support. It's a signal that something's amiss, and our innate instincts push us to reevaluate and seek balance. The psychology behind evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you is that attachment theory suggests that our early relationships shape our expectations and patterns in adult relationships. If someone grew up feeling undervalued, they might unconsciously seek similar dynamics in adulthood. However, recognizing these patterns can be the first step in seeking healthier, more validating relationships. An ancient proverb about evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you is, "Where there is no respect, there is no love." This saying emphasizes that mutual respect is the foundation of genuine love. Without it, the relationship is built on shaky ground. The Bible explains evaluating the relationship if he's not valuing you beautifully in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, which states, "Love is patient, love is kind, it is not self-seeking." This passage underlines that real love is selfless, always protective, and trusts. If he's not valuing you, it might be a sign that the love isn't as profound as it should be. Some say that evaluating the relationship is not effective because relationships have ups and downs and everyone makes mistakes. They argue that a few instances of being undervalued shouldn't define the whole relationship. And while it's true that no relationship is perfect, consistently feeling undervalued isn't just a minor hiccup. It's a sign of deeper issues that need addressing. The flip side of this would be accepting the relationship as it is without questioning. While there's merit in choosing your battles and understanding that no relationship is perfect, consistently overlooking your feelings and needs can lead to a long-term unhappiness and resentment. The third thing to do if he is not valuing you is to focus on self-care. Self-care means taking time to nurture and pamper yourself, ensuring your well-being, happiness, and health. When you realize someone, especially a significant other, isn't valuing you the way you deserve, it's vital to redirect your energy back to yourself. Instead of seeking validation from them, it's about finding peace and comfort within. Your worth isn't determined by how someone else sees you. When you engage in self-care, you reinforce your self-worth and remember that you deserve love, respect, and kindness starting from yourself. 3 specific examples of focusing on self-care include, number 1, physical self-care. Dive into activities like exercise, dancing, or even just long walks. These not only keep you fit, but release endorphins, making you feel good. Number 2 is mental self-care. Disconnect from negative environments or take breaks from social media. Spend some time journaling or meditating to understand and heal your emotions. Number 3 is emotional self-care. Surround yourself with supportive friends and family. Engage in activities that bring you joy, like watching your favorite movie or diving into a good book. An excellent explanation of focusing on self-care if he's not valuing you comes from Stephen R. Covey, who said, "Treat yourself with love and respect, and you will attract people who show you love and respect." Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is highlighting the principle that how you treat yourself sets standards for how others will treat you. By prioritizing self-care and self-love, you send a message about the kind of human treatment you accept and deserve from others. Another example of focusing on self-care if he's not valuing you is to think of yourself as a garden. If you're consistently giving away your flowers, energy, love, time to someone who doesn't appreciate them, soon your garden will be empty. But if you take the time to water, nurture, and tend to your garden, it'll flourish, bloom, and grow regardless of external validation. A biological explanation of focusing on self care if he's not valuing you is that humans have always needed to care for themselves to survive. In ancient times, self preservation wasn't just about avoiding predators, but also about taking the time to rest, heal, and nourish your body and mind. Over time, as societal complexities grew, the concept of self care evolved to also encompass emotional and psychological well being, ensuring holistic health and resilience against challenges. The psychology behind focusing on self care if he's not valuing you is that our self worth is closely tied to our mental and emotional health. Continuously seeking validation from someone who doesn't value you can lead to feelings of inadequacy and lower self esteem. Engaging in self care acts as a buffer, reinforcing your intrinsic value and promoting emotional resilience. An ancient proverb about focusing on self care if he's not valuing you is to fill your own cup so that you can fill others. This means that you need to take care of yourself first before you can effectively take care of others. By ensuring you're mental, emotional, and physically in good shape, you're better equipped to handle relationships and challenges. The Bible explains focusing on self care if he's not valuing you beautifully in 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Do you know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. This verse emphasizes the importance of valuing and taking care of yourself, viewing your body as something sacred and worth preserving. Some say that it's not effective to focus on self-care because they believe it's self-centered or that it takes away from caring for others. However, this notion is misguided. Self-care is not about neglecting others, it's about ensuring that you're in the best possible state to interact with the world around you. The flip side of focusing on self-care would be constantly seeking external validation. This approach can lead to burnout and feelings of emptiness because your well-being becomes tied to external factors you can't always control. Navigating relationships and understanding our worth in them can be challenging, but it's essential to remember that your value isn't solely tied to how someone else perceives you. Taking time for self-care is an act of self-love, ensuring you remain strong, resilient, and true to yourself, regardless of external dynamics. Next, if you'd like to discover a free 30-second trick to get any man to desire you for a long-term, loving, and committed relationship, then go to getlovesecret.com or subscribe and click on the link in the description or comments below this training now to get that, and I will see you there.